Hey guys, it's Tarian here. It's been a while since I uploaded a Paladin video for Classic World of Warcraft, but I figured it was time to make another one. So today I'm going to be talking about PreRank PvP, or PreRaid / PreRank PvP BiS for Ret in Phase 1. Now you may be thinking, why are you making a video about Phase 1? We're on next patch. Well, this is mainly for anticipation that Blizzard releases fresh Classic servers, either post TBC launch or alongside TBC launch, or for anybody that's playing on future private servers for Classic, for example the Hydral project, which I will be playing on, coming out in February. Yes, and I probably will be playing a dwarf most likely next time, just to try it out in comparison to human. So for pre-raid PvP BiS for Ret, there's two variations. There's the expensive ass Cloudkeeper variation, which these legs are like BiS until you get your rank 13 legs. They're almost on par with rank 13 legs. With that proc, or with that on-use effect. But there's this version, and then there's the much cheaper version, which is using the 4-piece Lightforge set, or you can use the 4-piece Valor. Oh, whoops, I don't know why that's like that. That's weird. Let's try this. Okay, there we go. Yeah, 4-piece Valor versus 4-piece Lightforge. They're pretty much the same. The only thing you really gain with Valor is a little more agi and some more stam, but you lose a bunch of intellect. So it's really up to you which of the two you prefer. Even though I'm a big advocate for not having that much intellect on your gear and prioritizing stam and offensive stats as Ret Reckoning. Oh, and disclaimer, I will be mostly covering Ret Reckoning for anybody that does. Deep Ret is a tad different, but not much. I do personally think that the 4-piece Valor is a little more useful than the 4-piece, or the 4-piece Lightforge is a little better than the 4-piece Valor, in my opinion. So we'll start with the Cloudkeeper variation. So for the headpiece we have Lionheart Helm, neck of Ember Fury Talisman, then Shoulders of Valor, Sunskin Gargoyle, Savage Glad Chain, Tabard of the Scarlet Crusade is obviously the best tabard in the game. Vambrace is the saddest. Demon Shear, some people may think Arcanite Reaper is, I mean technically Arcanite Reaper is, but who the fuck's gonna make an Arcanite Reaper in Phase 1 period? Stronghold Gauntlets, you need to get these ASAP. They are insanely good. Only second best PvP gloves in the game, only beaten by the rank 13 gloves for Paladin. So you need to get these. And they allow you to use Crusade on your weapon, which I know a lot of people like to use. So get these. When you replace them, obviously you need a weapon chain, but until you get rank 13 gloves, you need to get these. These are actually really good. Some people meme on them for some reason, but they're really good. Omok's Girth Restrainer, really good belt. An alternative is, the Brigham Girdle. Brigham Girdle's really good. Good alternative. Why does it keep doing that? It's weird. And then legs, obviously Cloudkeepers. Saffron Scale Boots, these are BOE, so you can actually buy these. They drop a lot in BRD, I've noticed. But, let me turn my music down 1 second. Okay, there we go. An alternative to this is this right here. The Battle Chaser Screws. Those ones are also pretty good. That's another BOE. Less stam. You could go with Blood Mail, but it's mail, and I mean, if you need the hit, go for it. These ones right here actually are also really strong. The Ripsteel Foot Guards from LBRS. I actually quite like them a lot because of the stam. They're pretty much on par with Saffron Scale Boots. So if you don't want to buy if you get these, you don't need to buy Saffron Scale Boots. You'll pretty much be good with these, in my opinion. As for rings, Myrmidon Signet, obviously an insanely good ring. So much stam. You're going to need that. Try to get one early if you can. If not, you could go with Blackstone Ring. It's also pretty good. 6 stam, lots of attack power. 1 hit is really nice. And then Pain Weaver Bam. This is from the last boss of Upper Blackrock. Pretty standard. It's good stam, strength, or stam crit attack power. Your 2 best in slot trinkets. Obviously, if you're not using NG trinkets and obscure like trinkets and shit, you're gonna want to use these 2. Hajj is just broken, especially in phase 1, and then the 2% crit is definitely something you don't want to get rid of. So now let's look at the Light Forge variation. So this is the Light Forge variation of the build. The main thing you're getting, the main thing you're getting from the 4-piece is the 40 attack power, which is really nice, and the armor is good too. This set has a decent amount of stam on it. Good stats overall. You're sacrificing a couple things, I will point out. The boots have they have less agi than Saffron Scale, but way more stamina. They actually have a lot of stamina on them. The shoulders are pretty much comparable to Valor shoulders. The legs obviously are worse than the Cloudkeepers, but they have good stats on their own combined with the 4-piece. The biggest downgrade of the 4-piece is the bracers, because you lose a lot of agi going from, you lose basically almost like 70% crit going from Light Forge to Light Forge brace, or going from Vambraces the status to Light Forge bracers. You're losing like 70% ish crit, but the rest of the stats balance it out pretty nicely, and the set bonus is really good. You got to think of it like 20 strength basically to that, which is pretty good. So these are the 2 variations. You could do it with the Valor ones as well. Let me show you that. So this is the variation using the Valor set. Slightly more agi, slightly more strength, slightly more stam, but significantly like 300 less int or mana. So it's really up to you which of the 2 you prefer, but obviously the best one that you're going to want to go with is the Cloudkeeper version, in my opinion. But if you can't get that, obviously either the 4-piece Valor or 4-piece Light Forge. A couple of things to note about both builds is that you have 5% hit in both of these with Lionheart. Lionheart is kind of rough because you don't have stam on it, but all the other stats are just so good in phase 1 that you can kind of make up for it. If you don't want to go with Lionheart, you could go with Mask of the Unforgiven. It sucks that it's leather, but it actually has stam on it, which is nice. It's 1 less crit, but that 2% hit is pretty big. Or you can maybe go get your hit from somewhere else. You could go with like Crown of Tyranny or something, and then get hit elsewhere. Like if you didn't have Myrmidon Signet, you're being really cheap. You could go for like something like that, and then Brigham Girdle. You could do something like this if you're trying to be cheap and save money. Also gets you your 5% hit. Not as much crit, obviously, but that gets you where you need to be. What else could you do? I'm trying to think. Try to get Lionheart Helm. I would suggest early on you go NG blacksmithing and just farm as much Arcanite as you can. And just get the mats for Stronghold and Lionheart. And then just try to save money or sell stuff and just try to get the Cloudkeepers as fast as possible. They're going to be extremely expensive, probably like 1,500 gold, but they are well worth it. You will use them for a very long time. Pretty much until... And if you're not ranking, you will use them for even longer. Probably until AQ. Myrmidon Signet, not as expensive, but try to get you one. as soon as you can. Savage Gladiator Chain is another piece that people find really annoying to get. Just bite the bullet and grind it, but if you are just getting shit RNG or you're just not grinding it enough, I would say, as an alternative, the Upper Blackrock chest is really good. Shit ton of stam, like amazing amounts of stam, and then good offense stats. So that's an alternative. Oh, and the fire resist too is great. But another alternative is, where is it? The Valor. I mean, the Valor chest you could do if you're doing the 4-piece. You could do like Valor chest with braces, Van Braces the Saddest. This is also not bad, as Breastplate of Valor has a lot of stam on it. Same goes with the Lightforge one. Good amount of stam, good amount of strength. It actually has a lot of int on it. Good armor. But if you're not rocking any of those, you could go with the Carapace of Anub Shaya. It has lots of stam. 22 stam is pretty good. 11 strength, 11 agi. That's great. But if you're going with without Savage Clad, let's say you go with so you go with the Valor chest if it wants to load. These are the stats with the Valor chest. Van Brace of the Saddest gives you slightly better stats, obviously, because you get your 4-piece from the chest. This is what I did, because I never got SGC for like a million years. So I would just get Breastplate of Valor. I was doing Lightforge, but you could do Valor and then Van Brace of the Saddest, and you'd be good with this. Now I'll talk a little bit about Phase 2 pre-rank. This is obviously, a lot of this is going to be extremely difficult for you to get, but this is pretty much the best case scenario gear wise. Like when the honor system comes out with like Warsong Gulch and all that, this is like the best situation you can be in going into that. Most of this is unrealistic, but who knows, maybe you'll get lucky. So things to note here: Sulphurous obviously is going to be really difficult for a lot of people to get, but if you can't get that, I would recommend Bone Reaver's Edge. Also another weapon that's going to be difficult to get, but if you can get it, great. And also, I would not recommend Obsidian Edge Blade. A lot of people get this weapon. I think it's a massive debate. I don't recommend it. Spawn Reaper is kind of bad. Don't get that either. But I would say Earthshaker is probably your best bet if you're not using Bree or Sulphurous. And this weapon's fairly common to get, as warriors don't like to go with maces, they like swords. The main reason for that is it's slower than OEB. It's got less, about half, or it's got like a quarter of the attack power that OEB has, but it has that proc, chance to knock down all nearby enemies for 3 seconds, which is really good in Battlegrounds, and it's just on-hit procs are really good for Paladin in general. We have a lot of opportunities to proc them. And it can proc off your Judgment of Command as well, which is really handy. Having that thing proc at range, basically. Lawbringer Shoulders, these should be pretty easy to get. They're really good, insane amounts of stamina and great resistance. Same with the boots, great stam. Not a lot of strength, but the stam is what we're looking for here. Cloud Keepers, obviously. Onslaught Girdle, it's a huge piece. Good luck getting it though. Stronghold, obviously, until we get rank 13. True Flight, these are really good. You don't need them because SDCI is 6% hit here. But if you can get them, great. If not, I'd probably recommend either keep rocking Saddest, Van Brace of the Saddest. It's also pretty good. Trying to think what else. There's another one. Oh yeah, you could go with Lawbringer, but you're not getting much out of it. You're just getting slightly more strength and slightly more stamina and slightly more armor. But True Flight is what you want. 11 stam, 1 crit, 1 hit, 6 int. It's perfect. Forget the fact that it's a male, but it's perfect. SGC obviously. Cloak of Shrouded Mist. Some people debate this one versus what is it? Dragon's Blood. But Dragon's Blood is really good, especially if you're going for like more resistances. and it has way more stamina, but I feel like the 22 agi is way more worth it than the 9 strength and 11 more stam. Or sorry, 10 more stam. Mainly because this is like a whole 1% crit and then some. And with kings, it's going to be even more. It's going to be like 24, 25 agi basically. So I would recommend this. It'll scale better in my opinion. And I mean, if you have Dragon's Blood Cape, you don't really need to go for this, but if you have the option to choose between the two, go for this, is what I'm trying to say. If Dragon's Blood Cape drops, take it. I mean, they're very close, but like I said, if you have to choose between the two, I would prefer this, but if you have this, don't worry about this. Oni neck, pretty standard. Kind of Destruction, great helmet. Try to snag it before the warriors realize it's good, because that happened to me. It dropped, none of the warriors wanted it. I got it first before anyone else, and then the warriors realized it was like pre-rank PvP BiS, and they're like, oh, what? I want it now. I'm like, yeah, it's pretty good. I'll talk about this, I guess. This is just the phase 2 PvP BiS. I mean, it's pretty much what you would expect. It's just that, but with the Grand Marshal gear. So this is hopefully what it'll look like on Hydro Project in 6-7 months. We'll see what happens. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll talk to you next time.